Hello, everyone. Blue Star Saber here once again to do another Loki episode review. This time, the second episode of the second season, Breaking Brad, which is clearly a reference to Breaking Bad. But heck, last episode we were introduced to like Ouroboros, like a sort of tech guy, a sort of technician, repair guy, I guess you could say, for like Loki, as Loki is time slipping throughout the time streams among the TVA, trying to tell them all they can, while also looking for Sylvia with Mobius. Can they succeed or not? Well, we have to find out. But it seems like from this episode's titles implied, they need to find Brad Wolf, who was I think called TX or Hunter X05, who was the guy that did this sort of jet ski catalog last episode, who was with I think General Docs to try and find Sylvia. Well, it seems some time has passed, and he's now become a famous movie star in 1977's London, where he's doing like some sort of horror movie where Mobius and Loki go to greet him. He tries to act all friendly, but then runs off, which leads to a chase scene with Loki and Mobius, where eventually they catch him due to Loki using his trickery powers to restrain him, and then bring him back, where they try to interrogate him about what they know about where Sylvia is gone and what he has been doing, which he ends up refusing. But during this time, let's see, Loki, Mobius, and I believe Hunter B-15 talk about how Renslayer has managed to use a TemPad with the help of Miss Minutes, and apparently that let's see, she's also got help from He Who Remains. So there's all that information where they're trying to find where they're trying to see if they can do this sort to find Sylvia and what happened to him and all that. But as the interrogation doesn't go well, it seems like an edge on Loki to play the bad cop, but eventually it's Mobius who gets egged on by let's see, Brad. I'm just going to call him Brad from now on. Brad by about his past life, which he punches him. And as a result, you kind of have Loki taking Mobius away to check how he's doing, but he seems to be quite troubled about the whole thing. And eventually, let's see, Mobius concludes with Loki, why not try your like god of mischief with mischief abilities to try and get him to talk, in which let's see, try and get him to end up talking, in which during this time you have Albus, who I enjoy still working, trying to stabilize the temporal loom, but realize that he can't really access the blast doors, so there's going to be a meltdown, and he ends up telling B-15 and the worker Casey, who is a huge fan of his guidebook, so he ends up trying to sign it, but then of course B-15 shows him get back to like the topic at hand, is that only He Who Remains can access it, but he's now dead. And he needed to now find the rogue AI Miss Minutes to try and deal with that system lock. Meanwhile, Loki and Mobius, who once again interrogate Brad, in which they've got some contraption that can it's that contraption that can trap them in sort of cube thing. Let's see, Loki, it makes it look like Loki is getting Mobius to leave to find like the control thing, but he ends up blocking him out, and then starts to get very threatening on the thing with Mobius trying to get inside. Loki, don't go across the line, which eventually Brad breaks and reveals that he knows where Sylvia is, but it's revealed that it was a ruse, of course, by Loki and Mobius to get Brad to talk, and eventually they go to the Oklahoma McDonald's that we saw in the post credits from last episode, and where he's in a team. Brad's doing like in the sort of prison gear thing, but he's looking all nervous and all that stuff. With Loki and Mobius going to try and find Sylvia, with Loki particularly being the one to talk, and you can tell the sort of awkward tension with the two there. And let's see, Loki's trying to get her to help, but she doesn't want nothing to do with the TVA or him. And no, granted, he tries to persuade her that it's the only defense against hero remains and variants that he talked about from like the interdimensional wars, if you will. But during this whole doing this whole thing, Mobius is eating McDonald's with XO5, in which he's acting suspiciously nervous, and as a result, you have him realizing that something's wrong, so it gets him to confess to both the Loki and Sylvia that this place ends up going to be destroyed soon, and that Doc and her followers are planning to prune all the branching timelines in which they go to stop them. A fight ensues, but they've managed to defeat Doc and all that stuff, but it's too late to stop all of the research charges that they've been doing in their base operations and using those teleport things, as most of those timelines have been pruned. Much to B-15's horror, Sylvia disgusted, saying that there's not really much different from the TVA, and she ends up leaving, going back to her life, if you will, thinking that there's still a bit of a problem. Going back to like the new timeline she sets, I think befriending like a little talking to like one of the co-workers. I think the one that she ended up talking to the post credits, and also still having Hero Remains Tempad with him, sort of ending the episode, if you will. So there we got that. And that ends the episode. Now for my thoughts. I'm gonna be honest. I thought when the episode first started, I've completely forgotten who Brad was. I mean, he was more like a character that did that one joke scene, and maybe apologized to Mobius for pruning him, but I didn't quite remember him much. And I honestly felt like we seemed to like miss an episode because we were like chasing this guy, and it's like, okay. And when I realized who it was, it's like, okay, I clearly missed something because I thought it was like Doc just trying to find Sylvia. It's like, did we miss an episode? Is there an error on Disney Plus? But no, it seems like some time has passed and he's gone rogue. I do like his sort of like how Mobius and Loki are just trying to go and incognito greet him like they're like old friends. Let's see, him saying, "Can I get you a drink?" but then trying to run off, and then you have them chasing. I do like how Loki ends up using his God of Mischief powers to just create a bunch of thugs to surround him and then do replicas of himself, and then having the shadows restrain them. I thought it was all kind of created, and in many ways I do kind of wish this is some of the stuff you got to see with Loki back in the MCU Infinity Saga, though who knows whether or not we'll see Loki again in the movies, except for like a post-credit scene. We'll have to wait and see how the show concludes and all that, especially with Loki. But yeah, I do like the sort of prisoner interrogation. So I do like how he's able to restrain. I do like how Renslayer is brought up with Mobius and Hunter 15, try and find her association with the He Who Remains, as well as the Miss Minutes. To be honest, I kind of forgotten the full details of those kind of storylines, so I might need a refresher. I probably really should have rewatched Loki season 1. But who knows, maybe I'll binge watch the season 1 and season 2 once it's over with. But I do like how they are focused on trying to find her, but at the same time, they're trying to prioritize some Sylvia, which I do like how, how they try to play how you have Mobius originally trying to play the good cop, trying to restrain Loki, and you can really just see how angry Loki gets when XO5 tries to go Loki that he's always a villain, he's a loser and all that stuff. And Loki's like, maybe I should act like a villain. And it's like, this gets the others worried, but they manage to calm him down. But I like how it's like Mobius is the one to snap, let's see, and ends up punching and hitting XO5. And I do like how Loki ends up just confronting him about it, and like despite the fact that Mobius tries to say that he doesn't want to know what his past life was, Loki seems to insist that he might. But I do like Mobius's reasoning that if it's like a very good life or a very bad life, it doesn't really want to know what he had. Otherwise, that will always affect his work role and all that stuff. So he likes to be professional. But I do like how he ends up trying to persuade Loki that you're the god of mischief. Why don't we cause some mischief? And that ends up being the solution to finding like the answers to like the interrogation. I do like how Brad wants to be a movie star doing campy horror films, so that was funny. But I do like how the subplot we have with Ouroboros trying to stabilize the whole temporal loom, like the thing outside, and he's like he needs to tell everyone what's to happen. But I do like how him and Casey end up having a very bonding moment, because he is the only one that fully read the guide, because you can see Mobius and Loki that struggle to read the guide or remember the guide, but this guy offered, see when he mentioned from the conversation earlier, that he fully read the guide, and he's honestly become such an admirer of like the guy who, like Ouroboros, who wrote it, and is like, can you sign it? And it's just like, I really like this sort of friendship between the two. These two are like totally besties, but you got Hunter B15 just trying to get, let's see, Ouroboros and Casey to focus on the situation at hand, and with like the whole news about who remains is dead, with now the option is Miss Minutes to get the whole thing, which I think it does raise the stakes, especially that you've got an unreliable AI, I believe. So we'll have to see. So it seems like we've got a bit of that might be the next bit of the plot where we try and find Miss Minutes. Now, granted, I probably need to rewatch this just to fully understand it all, but I do like how but anyway, going to but I do like how now when the second interrogation was happened, I knew that Mobius was in on it and probably faking it. But I will admit, the performance that Mobius and Loki gave for a second, for like a minute or two, had me doubt, like, is Loki really just going to actually torture and ignore Mobius's plan? But it seems like no, actually, he was going along. They were going along with it, and they pretty much had him locked out just to make it more convincing, which I will admit was pretty true. I mean, I've seen this kind of trope. I think you've heard and seen this trope enough on TV and other fiction that you kind of like know that he's probably going to fake it. But still, I will admit, it's the performance of these characters that I think really sells it. Even if your brain tells you like, he's just gonna, they're just faking it. But I still like the sort of like actual tower that Brad has once the cube thing that he's stuck in gets smaller. So I did like that. So yeah. Now, granted, there's the whole McDonald's thing. It's like a Loki running into Sylvia. It's like, I think it portrays a very, really awkward when you run into like your ex after having a very bad breakup, and it's clearly that. And she's like, talk 5 minutes after like ordering and all that stuff. So yeah, granted, it's still weird because it's like a Loki with a female version of himself. So granted, let's see, that Loki prefers to be called Sylvia. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but I do think it captures the whole bad breakup, vibe that you have with your girl. It's like your partner, and the partner doesn't want to have anything to do with you because they feel betrayed. And I can see why Sylvia feels betrayed by Loki, because the TVA hunted her down persistently, and then as a result, and then she thought she found someone she could trust in Loki, but Loki tried to stop her from just getting her revenge, and particularly he must be named because he's worried of everything going into pure absolute chaos. But she's just like Loki still thinks the TVA. But I do like how Loki tries to say the TVA is the only thing to stop this absolute chaos, but she's convinced that the TVA is a problem with or without He Who Remains. So I do like this sort of Loki trying to make his points, but you can see Sylvia's points as well. And but in the meantime, I'm really enjoying Mobius's a banter with Brad, if you will. And he's just relaxing and eating and all that stuff, and just talking about how just like a while ago torture, but you can clearly tell that something. But I really like how he's able to quickly do something is wrong with Brad. Brad was panicking, okay, yeah, let's go. It's like he's expecting some sort of ambush, but no, it's actually that Docs, the general, decided instead of just looking for Sylvia, she's just going to blow up every alternative timeline, and one including with her in it, which is very which gets Sylvia to come back to the TVA just temporarily, just to try and stop Docs and her crazy plan. And I do like how and I do like the action scenes. I do like how you even got the Lokis teaming up with the illusions and all that. And I do like how you see some of them pruning some of the guards and all that. But yeah, it was a pretty good fight scene, I will admit. And I do like how Docs was determined, destroy as many as you can. And the way when you see Hunter B-15 react to all those pruned timelines, it's that she's all those lives lost. It's they're just witnessing the effects of a mass genocide, if you will, of a bunch of people from all these kind of timelines. And this pretty much reaffirms Sylvia's belief that the TVA is a problem. So yeah, she's like, I'm done, but I'm done with this. I'm heading back to my timeline if it's still there. Though I have a feeling that she'll get dragged back into the conflict, whether she likes it or not. But we might just, who knows, maybe skip an episode with her for a while, and then just focus on what the TVA is trying to do to find Renslayer and Miss Minutes. But I do like how an episode ends with her just trying to just hanging out with one of the McDonald's workers she's befriended, and also He Who Remains on Typepad, which is clearly going to be a plot device for the future of the season and what Loki and the others can do at the TVA. Overall, I think it was a very great episode. I would have given it a 10 out of 10. I would give it a 10 out of 10, but I honestly think due to the confusing opening at first with Brad, I would feel like that kind of knocks it down a bit. So it's a 9 out of 10. I think it's a very good episode of let's see Loki and Mobius playing good cop, bad cop with a god of mischief with Loki's illusions and all that. And I like the sort of awkward tension between Sylvia and Loki after they last saw each other, with Loki trying to point out that she is even she's in the future, so she totally comes back for something. I like Orobus's bonding moments with Casey. I think I've said the name correctly. I may have not. I apologize. And then, of course, we're learning that Docs has gone completely mad and is pruning timelines by force, and then the action scenes. So yeah, leaving everyone in a downer bit for for what's arguably the next episode and halfway of season 2. But yeah, overall, it's a very good episode. and I'm looking forward to the next Loki episode this Friday. So, yeah, and I look forward to it. For those who end up listening to my review, I hope you liked what I had to say on the topic of Loki's second episode for the season 2. But for now, I am Blue Star Saber, signing off. Thank you for joining me. Goodbye.